Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sports Doctor's Inn. This evening, I'm here with Larry Abels, and we will
Hey,
be.
Earl, how you doing, boss?
I'm doing pretty good, I guess. Yeah. Could you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
You coming through loud and clear.
All right. Well, today we're going to discuss the farce that we call the NBA All-Star Weekend, and we'll also catch up on some of the NCAA women's basketball as well. Uh, okay, let's get started. We got things we got to do. Okay. So, Larry, did you get a chance to catch any of the All-Star activities this weekend?
Yeah, I caught quite a bit of it. I caught quite a bit of it live, and some of it I watched, on replay after the fact. Thought it was pretty entertaining, as a somewhat of a spectacle. Their performance or presentation. I think they do a fairly decent job of presenting their halftime. Maybe more than other sports, but there are probably some things they could improve on.
Okay. Well,
What'd you think of it?
as long as I can remember, I've been watching sports for, I say, 65 years. And the past 2 weekends, the Super Bowl and this weekend, was the most depressed I've ever been after any years of watching sports.
Wow.
Super Bowl was simply horrible. And when you think it can't get any worse, they present the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Wow.
What a joke. It's a farce. I guess that's a true thing what P.T. Barnum says when he says there's a sucker born any minute. Anybody who traveled through that game, anybody who wasted their time like I did watching any of those activities this weekend, just bad. I don't even understand the point of the game. What is the game for?
Well, I mean, ideally, it's a showcase of the stars. I think in recent years, the players have not played hard. They've, and I know I don't expect a All-Star game to be played at playoff intensity. No doubt about that. But I think should have been at least played at pickup court intensity. Just like you and I back in the day, we'd be up at the court. We'd be at least trying to win. We might be trying to show off against each other, but we'd be trying to win the game. In past years, it's been absolutely no defense. I know you're someone who don't think that they play back defense during the regular season. Well, in the All-Star games, they've taken it to a whole different level of non-defense. And I think the league tried to come up with some ideas to enhance the competition. Not sure if their solution was correct, but I thought the games were a little more competitive than had been in the past, even though there's some other problems with it.
Okay, good. Well, I thought they did a horrible job. It's just me. I don't have too much of anything, but I do have time, and time is very precious to me. I just wasted. I wasted Friday night. I wasted Saturday night. I wasted Sunday night watching this stupid stuff, and I just don't like to waste time. That's all it was. It was nothing more but a waste of time.
So this is what's going to trip you out about me, because I'm normally not into the presentation, but I thought the presentation was great with the music, which again, this is not like me to even notice stuff like this. But they had the Bay Area theme. What's the guy that used to play at Tony
Raphael Sadiq.
Right. He came out with his band. They played a lot of tribute to Bay Area old school musicians like Sly and Family Stone, Santana, Tony, Tower of Power. And then they had the new school stuff like Too Short and a few other local current musicians come out and do their thing. I thought it was actually pretty decent music. And again, this is coming from an old school guy that doesn't even buy into that sort of thing. I think their presentation is very good. The problem I had with it was the basketball game.
Right.
And I'm okay with the games. I think they needed to try to do something to get a more competitive product out there, and I think they did. But just the manner that they did it, it wasn't in that continuity. They would have breaks between games. Kevin Hart would come out there and make some corny jokes. And Kevin Hart's okay with me. I know a lot of people don't particularly care for him. I think he's okay, but it just didn't seem like it was almost like they forced the comedy into something that wasn't necessarily funny. Then TNT had a big farewell going fishing stuff for the broadcasters, even though that same show is going to be on ESPN next year. So took away from some of the action when they could have just, if they were going to play, whoever has next play, they had like a 20, 25-minute gap between games on Sunday when I think a lot of people tuned in to see basketball.
Right. Well, I guess the other team had to rest a little bit between games.
Okay, you used to play ball on the court. What kind of rest did people get?
Well, that's when we were in.
Yeah, but these guys are world-class athletes. I know we were pretty good back in the day, but 20 minutes, you got another game in there. I think some of the players even complained it took too long between games.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, think of it, Earl. They played the 40 with substitutes.
The only thing that took too long and is taking too long is for them to end this BS.
So you don't even think they should have the All-Star game, huh?
Why?
Well, in theory, if the guys would actually play, I think it could be quite entertaining if they would actually put forth a little more effort.
The days of professionals who making millions playing hard and also again, those days are over, and those days cannot be. They can't bring that back. They can't bring that back.
Okay.
They can't bring that back. I don't even know how it started. I mean, when we was coming up, the All-Star game was pretty competitive.
Well, I mean, the players have got to take it.
When did it start just wasting away?
Well, they don't play hard. And I mean, it might even be a symptomatic of a larger issue. Just like players used to try to play 82 games. They don't even attempt to do that.
They don't do that no more.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just...
I still like NBA All-Star Weekend. I think the league tried to tweak it to make the game more competitive. I think they did have more competitive basketball, but I'm not sure this was the fix. And I think it's really going to boil down to maybe some of the old school veterans say, hey, I'm going to go out here and play hard. And I might, people like LeBron, who happen not to play, and Kevin Durant. And I think if they play hard, I think some of the younger guys might follow their lead. Wemby seemed to play hard to me. Yeah. The problem was his team lost in the first round. We didn't get to see him play anymore, which is another problem with the format.
Who played in the final game?
It was the OGs, Curry and David Lillard and Durant.
And who did they play?
Say that again.
And who did they play?
Oh, I forgot. It was Kenny. Not Kenny's team.
Charles' team.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who they had on their team. They were probably the second best team.
Yeah, I know who they had. I know they had all the European boys on the team.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think the U.S. against the international stars might be a little more competitive? You think that they will play with that?
They just played.
Well, I mean, what if they had their format and had a full game of that?
You said if Charles Barkley team played the OGs a full game, would they win? They would.
No, U.S. All Stars versus international All Stars in a regular game, not a game of 40, but in a.
If those two teams played for the championship, if they played for 40 minutes, are you asking me who would win?
Yeah, or they played a regular 48-minute game. Yeah.
Wasn't it obvious that, to answer your question, the USA would win?
You think so?
I thought that was obvious. They beat them.
I don't know.
40 games.
Well, I mean, NBA game. That was a short snippet, and just think if let's say everybody's healthy, somebody like Giannis might be playing for the international All Stars. That could change the balance of things.
No, we didn't say Giannis. We said the teams that played the other day.
Say that again.
We said if the teams had played the other.
No. I said the international. I didn't say the team that played all day. What if they changed the format to have international versus U.S.? I'm asking, do you think that would make for a more competitive matchup? Because that seems like what the league is trying to do.
I'm saying they played the other day. Okay, except for Giannis, it was the same thing.
Well, I mean, and they only played like what might be a quarter too.
Well, I understand that. But
that team. My question is, do you think it would make it? Do you think it would be more competitive, or do you think they would still kind of? Because what the league is looking to do is make for a competitive contest, and I'm not sure that they've. I thought the game was a little more competitive, but I think ultimately it's going to rest with the players. So
if you add Giannis to the team, no, it won't be competitive.
Say that again.
If you add Giannis to the team, no, it will not be competitive. But if Giannis didn't play, the teams that played against each other every day, the U.S. will win.
Regardless of who wins, do you think they will play hard? I guess when I say competitive, that's what I mean.
No.
As opposed to just out there trying to show off.
I'm sorry I took too long with running off and didn't answer your question. No, I don't think they're being competitive. They're not fired up for it. What do they get out of it? They all got money. So give me $100,000 when I got $4 or $5 million. That don't mean nothing. We're not gonna play hard for it. Nobody wants to get hurt in a game that means nothing. Not just.
But I mean, all we gotta do is go back a couple of decades where you had Michael Jordan and people like that. They were millionaires and they played hard. They seem to have a sense of pride, where they wanted to beat the other guys. Not that it was, again, not like a playoff game, but it was more like, to me, I keep saying like a pickup game where people are actually just trying to win.
The players back there seem like they were more competitive. These young kids don't care about nothing. They don't care what they lose now. When we was coming up, players didn't hang out off the court together, be friends, and high five and all that. They didn't like each other. Or whether they liked it or not, they still looked at the person as a competitor. And they were smiling and all that. We all go ride banana boats together down in Bahamas and all that crap, man.
But they had guys like Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson were friends, and Mark Aguirre and all of them, and they would play against each other. They still wanted to beat each other.
How'd that friendship end? Isaiah and Magic were at odds at one time. They played that crap.
Yeah, but I mean, while they were playing, they were friendly when they were playing. They still wanted to beat each other. I mean, that's the thing. It just stopped them from wanting to win. So you think being friends takes away from it?
These guys out here soft, man. They're soft.
Better watch out. Sound like Oscar Robertson a little bit.
Man.
Or maybe Draymond Green. I don't know. You sound like maybe both of them.
These guys are playing today would be completely different if they were going by rules when we were coming up.
I agree with that.
So that's all I'm saying. And also, if people back then were playing in today's rules, with today's rules, people like Jordan, Gervin, they may be averaging 40 or something instead of what they did average. If the people back then played by today's rules, you can't touch nobody. You can't do anything without a stupid foul call. It's crazy, man. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed with the format. That's all. And I don't understand. I understand it's not for me to understand everything, but I just don't understand the purpose of this game. I don't. Just like Draymond said, all they do is shoot threes. How many actual fives are in the league?
So you're not talking about the All-Star game. You're just talking about the game in general, which I think maybe Draymond was talking about too.
I'm talking about
it's a different game now.
Yes.
I mean, some people. What do you think if they took the 3-point shot out of the game? You think that would help?
I don't think anything can help the competitive aspect of the game anymore. All-Star game anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. The All-Star game, the players have got to decide whether they just want to play to win or whether they're just on, vacation. But what Draymond was addressing was the game in today's game in general. What do you think about if they took out the 3-point shot? You think that might open things? I mean, might convince bigger guys to go back inside a little bit and not rely on threes as much? It really would be no need for your 7-footer to be out there shooting threes or shooting deep shots.
I don't know, Larry.
All right.
If I don't have anything intelligent to say, I try to abstain from talking. That's why I'm hesitant. I don't have anything intelligent to say about the game today. I don't know what's going on.
All-Star game, the players have just got to decide that they want to play. I mean, really, that's what it's going to boil down to.
But why would they want to play?
Pride. Professional pride. I think Wemby and a couple of other guys out there, they took it kind of serious when they were on the court.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't notice that part, but okay.
The problem was his team lost in the first round, so we didn't get to see him play.
It is what it is, man. I don't know.
You watch any women's college basketball this week?
I did. Last week I saw USC versus UCLA. At the time, UCLA was ranked number 1.
And undefeated.
They lost to USC. Who's number 1 now? Notre Dame, correct?
Notre Dame, yeah, they were number 2. They moved up.
Who's number 2 now?
Number 2 is Texas, I believe.
They came up from 9 to 2. Yeah,
they weren't at 9. They was like at about 6. In the last week, they've beaten South Carolina and
okay,
and LSU.
Okay,
they've got 2 wins against the top 7 teams.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
they're number 2. I want to say USC might be number 3 and UCLA might be number 4, something like that. Even though UCLA might be number 3, USC might be number 4, even though USC beat UCLA.
UCLA can't be over USC.
They are. They're 1 ahead of them.
Well, see, there's a problem.
Well, I think USC was number 6 when they beat number 1. UCLA was.
It don't matter. Just like we said before, there's a problem with these rankings and all this crap. It's just crap. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? You beat a team that was number 1.
Yeah, I understand that.
The same thing with the Maryland being ranked 25th after being ranked number 18 after they lost 1 game. It's a problem with that too. I don't know what's going on.
Well, if they're unranked and they can move up to number 18, why can't they fall from number 18 to 25 if they lose the game? Is the problem they should have never been moved from unranked to number 18?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I am befuddled about everything that's going on right now in sports. I just don't understand. Not all sports, but some of these sports. It's crazy. Let me look up the rankings. UCLA can't be ranked over USC.
They're ranked number 3. USC is ranked number 4. UConn is number 5. Then it's South Carolina. Then it's LSU.
UConn is number 5.
Correct.
Okay. Right. They should have moved up a little bit further.
Who should they be above? Notre Dame has won 18 in a row. They haven't. Texas has won 10 in a row, including two of the teams in the top seven within the last week. UCLA lost one game, to USC, so both of those are above UConn. Then it's UConn. UConn has lost 3 games. I think USC has lost 2, and UCLA has only lost 1. But I do see the USC, UCLA. It seems like those two should be flipped to me.
Of course. But, I don't care. And has this been going on all along? Last week, I saw a report that said they've already ranked the first top 16 seeds. How are they going to do that in the season's not even over?
No, what they have is they have like a it's kind of like the football kind of had a poll right before the end of the season. They started showing you who the teams that were in the playoffs were. That's all they were saying. That's not a final thing. That was as of last week, because as of last week they had USC, which was in the top 4 probably. They were one of the top season, one of the regionals, and UConn was second seed. So that's probably going to switch after this week.
What was the purpose of that? What was the purpose of those projections?
They were just kind of showing who they think is in and who's out. Instead of letting it be a secret at the end of the season, they were showing you where teams were standing, and it still wasn't showing. It was only showing the top 4 seeds in each bracket. It wasn't showing the whole thing. They just had the top 16 teams.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How you gonna have the top 16 teams and the season ain't even over?
But it's not final. It's just as of last week. That's all it was showing. It was essentially, if the season were to end now, this is where we are. So it's kind of showing you what the committee is thinking.
Okay, so more unnecessary garbage. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not a final, definitely not a final thing. That's going to change week to week. And it really doesn't matter until you get to the till the season is over, till the play tournaments are over.
Okay. All right. So
yeah. UConn and South Carolina. See any of that game?
I did.
That was rough. Well, let's go back to the UCLA USC game was good. USC started off with about a 7 or 8 point lead after the first quarter. The next 2 quarters, UCLA dominated them, and they ended up having a lead. But then in the fourth quarter, USC outscored UCLA 24-8. And Juju Watkins had a great game. She scored 38 points, more than half her team's points when they needed it. She looked like she might be the best college player, at least that particular day.
Hey, okay. You're going to have to watch this new golf thing that's on TV, right?
Say that again?
Are you going to watch any of this golf stuff going on?
Oh, the TGF, yeah. TGL, Tomorrow's Golf League. I don't really watch that.
Okay. All right. I have to find somebody who does. I'm lost here because I see them hit the ball into the screens, and then next thing I see them on a real course, and I have no idea what's going on.
I think it's a simulated golf, kind of like when they have those people going to Top Golf. It's a simulated golf course, except for the putting. The putting, I think, is actually real.
And they have sponsors sponsoring this, and they have people watch this and excited about this right now.
Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy have established this.
Simulated game. I just don't.
Again, not only that, each team is like represents a city. Like you got a team that represents Boston,
right?
Jupiter, Florida, but all the games are played in Florida, in a golf arena.
Yeah,
it's almost like people are watching video game golf.
It's like P.T. Barnum says, a sucker born every minute.
I'm familiar with it. I just don't watch it. I've seen, I don't follow it closely. TGL, Tomorrow's Golf League.
Yeah, whatever. Stuff's crazy, man. I don't get it. Yeah. All right. So I honestly prefer watching the women's game instead of the guys when it comes to college basketball.
I
I
do
think
too.
the women's
Why
team.
why why do you why do you say that?
I don't know. I just prefer the thing. I'm not impressed by any of the college teams this year, but they got a lot of good women's teams. They seem like they're more fun. They're more fundamentally. Their their fundamentals are better than the guys, and yeah,
I would tend to agree with that.
they play hard all the time.
And, another thing about them is they stay there usually at least 3 years, most of the time 4 years, and they don't transfer as frequently as the men. So you kind of get to know the players on the team and associate the players with a particular team. Well, the guys seem to move around a lot. A lot of the best players leave after 1 year, thinking they're ready for the pros. Then you never hear them again. But I have to give the women's. They seem to have a more stable group of teams than the men do, and they learn to play with each other. Maybe that's why the fundamentals are better. They're used to playing with each other more instead of switching teams every year. I find them very entertaining.
South Carolina, they got trounced the other day.
That was rough. Now it was a girl that played, a young lady that plays for UConn named Aziz Fudd, actually from DC, went to St. John's, scored 23 points in the second half. At one point, she had hit 6 straight threes. And I didn't realize. I was talking to a buddy of mine, Harlan Magruder, and he was telling me at St. John's she had suffered injuries. And the announcers were saying she had suffered injuries in college. And I think she might have had 2 or 3 knee injuries or maybe 2 or 3 knee operations. So this is one of the first years where she's been healthy this late in the season. And they have the other woman, was it Paige? I can't remember her name, and who's been injured a lot too. And this is one of the first times they've both been healthy at the same time. Hopefully they can stay healthy, for the rest of their career, really. But I would like at least to see them play in a tournament with both of them healthy.
Right. Okay.
Because they had a nice team when they were both firing up. That was incredible. I couldn't believe what happened to South Carolina. Now, I don't think they'll do that to them every time, but they sure had it going Sunday.
South Carolina, they got. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they've lost 2 games. They lost Super Bowl Sunday and they lost this Sunday, but their record's 23-3. And the thing that I like about college basketball, I don't know if we're going to talk about this last game, Texas and LSU, who both are ranked right. They're currently ranked 2 and 7. I think last week they might have been 6 and 7. But Texas is the team that beat South Carolina last week. So this week, within like 3 days, 6 of the top 7 teams actually faced each other,
Right.
which I think is good. And a lot of them are not in the same conference.
Right. Okay.
And it's good that they're actually playing each other. And
So,
most of the games have been close.
from those projections, or whatever they call them that they did last week, no, I saw something else. It wasn't those. I saw something that said that the Big Ten might get a lot more teams than I thought was supposed to be in there. And that's back to what we were talking about.
You're talking on the men's side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Big Ten don't have anybody, but they got a lot of people supposed to be going to the tournament. I just don't understand. It's not like they're playing football where we know week, the SEC and the Big Ten run the NCAA rankings. Maybe they run it in basketball too. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw something similar. The same thing you saw with the women when they had predicted about the teams that are going to be in there. I saw a similar thing with the men.
Right.
And they said 10 teams, and it looks like SEC is probably going to get 10 teams too, at least.
But the Big Ten don't have anybody.
So let me see.
Nope. This is a
I'm
joke.
looking at the top 25. I see Wisconsin, Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State. That's 4.
I'm waiting for you to name somebody.
Maryland. So that's five in the top 25. So maybe they have other teams that are pretty good.
Just 5 in the name of fake. They don't belong in there, huh?
But if they're in the top 25, if the ranking is anything to believe, another and one more Big Ten team fell just short, which was Illinois. So that's 6 in the top 25. You got 64 teams. They may have some more teams. But I saw the same prediction that you saw, where they predicted 10 teams were coming out of that conference. I haven't watched that conference close enough, so I really can't make the call.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. Let's get back to the NBA and wrap this crazy stuff up.
All right.
I don't even know what to say. Who's the best team in the NBA right now, Larry?
I'm going with Oklahoma City. They've been consistent all year. Usually, they've won a lot of games by double digits. They got Holmgren back. Of course, we know Gilgeous Alexander's played well, as has Williams. Jay Williams, he's played well. Also made the All-Star team along with Shea. So I'm liking Oklahoma City if they stay healthy. Okay. They increased in size. Hogan 7-footer came back, but they got Hardestein, which gives them a little bulk inside and can give them some minutes. And he got valuable playing time while Hogan was out. I look for them to win. They remind me of Boston in that they have a lot of players that can play.
Okay.
Even though they might not be as well known as Boston's players.
So aren't Memphis and Houston second and third in the West? Or am I tripping?
Houston was, I think they fell down. They kind of hadn't played well lately because they were second for a while. I'm gonna check, but I think they've fallen down in Memphis and Denver. I think may have both surpassed them. But they kind of ran into a rough patch.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, who's coming out of the East?
Wow, that's tough. I'm gonna go with a surprise team, and I'm gonna say, if everybody's healthy, Milwaukee's gonna come out of there. That's a surprise team.
Okay.
Damon and Giannis have gotten their act together, and they play very well. I think the addition of Kuzma, where he doesn't have to be the main star, I think he can do for them what they've been missing from Middleton the last few years. And I think that's gonna really help their team.
Okay.
Who do you like in both conferences? Because I saw you give me, your strange look when I said Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's not going anywhere, but
no, who's going to come then? I know I'm going out on a limb saying them, but I think
Oklahoma and Cleveland in the final.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're the two teams that got the lead. I think Cleveland or Boston also could come out. I think Cleveland is probably a year away. But they have a good team. When you play 4 out of 7, that's going to be interesting. Their players are starting to mature together. But I'm watch Milwaukee. That's all I'll say. But Giannis has got to get healthy. I mean, that's the big if.
Okay.
If he doesn't get healthy, that's going to be a problem for them.
All right.
Otherwise, I would probably take. Gosh, I'd be rooting for Cleveland, but it's hard for me to think that they'll beat Boston. That should be a good series, though.
I'm not impressed with Boston. I don't know what that's about, but maybe I do. Maybe I do, and I don't want to say or whatever. I don't know. I just.
They got a nice team.
They have a good team. They're not winning it though. They're not going. They're not going to.
Hey, I mean, you stepping out there with Cleveland. That's a this might be one of these situations where the sports doctor feels something.
Well,
Plus,
I ain't got a feel nothing. It was one thing for them to play consistent the first part of the season, fall down. They've been playing great the whole year. So they for real.
so if things the way things stand, and things go according to chalk, they'll and in the second round they'll have to either play the Bucks or the Pacers. If talking about Cleveland, if Cleveland has to play the Bucks and the Bucks are healthy, I think that's going to be a tough series for them.
We'll see.
The Celtics might have the easiest path because they're right now they would probably have to play the Knicks or the
Who has the best record right now? Are they tied?
Oh no, Cleveland has the best record. Cleveland's up 5.5 games over Boston.
They're up 5.5 games over Boston.
Yeah, and the Thunder are 8 games over the Grizzlies in the West. 8.5 over the Nuggets.
You look at Denver as a legitimate threat if their two guards can play consistently the rest of the year.
Which team? Denver?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think Denver will be. I'm looking for Denver and Oklahoma City to be in the finals.
All right.
Talking about Murray. If Murray plays well. Yeah, I think.
So what's going on?
I would love to see that matchup.
What's going on with the Knicks?
The Knicks? Knicks are doing well. They're in third place. 8 games behind Cleveland, 3.
They're not scaring nobody, though. Nobody's looking at them and scared.
They've actually improved their team by getting Karl Anthony Towns, though. He's actually played well for them.
I think their team was better last year. The Knicks, they look shaky, man. They look shaky. That team last year was better than the team they have this year. The Knicks team.
I don't know. I think they upgraded by getting Towns.
Yeah,
Towns for Julius Randolph, who was actually hurt a lot last year.
they upgraded by that, but losing the guy went to Illinois, their chemistry changed when they made that trade. They had some kind of cue. The Knicks were dangerous last year. If they had a big man, they would have done some damage.
Well, they got a pretty good team. I mean, they're 18 games above 500.
Teams were afraid of the Knicks last year. Ain't nobody afraid of them this year.
I think, yeah. I mean, they'll have to beat the Celtics in order to get to the finals, and that's going to be a challenge for them. I'm not sure they can beat Boston.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying they ain't going nowhere.
I mean, they're third best team in the East, and the Pacers and the Bucks, I think, are pretty decent teams, but they got like a 4.5 game lead on the Pacers.
The Bucks have a good team, man. Pacers are trash. Come on.
Well, they got a big lead on the Bucks right now.
Don't matter. They still trash.
You're hard on people, man.
No, man. The Pacers. Who they have?
Well, I guess probably the best player is probably Siakam, but they have a lot of decent players on their team.
Besides Siakam, who do they have? Halliburton, who whatever boy they get hurt all the time. He's soft. If you don't know that he's soft, ain't nobody been paying attention to the game. But who's that two guard? Nimrod or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
They don't have nobody, man. Come on, man. Pacers don't have nobody. Don't have nobody. Siakam, that's it. Halliburton is a decent point guard. I don't like him, but he's still a decent point guard. Let's not let my feelings.
Yeah, and they got I'm trying to think of the other big guys.
It's hard to think of those big men because they got a bunch of nobodies.
Miles Turner, he's pretty decent. And they got another guy named Matthew or something, and Obi Tobin.
There you go. People, man, you can't even pronounce. They don't have nothing. They have
Benedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't pronounce the names. Halliburton.
they don't have anybody. They don't have no Siakam. And he sometimes, I don't know, maybe sometimes he need help or something. But he ain't like he used to, but anyway. But
I think Miles Turner's pretty good. No, they're a team. They have a lot of guys that can contribute. You know, that's what I'm seeing with the teams that are winning now. They've kind of gone away from a big three, and they got like 8 guys that they can put out there that could play offense and defense. You know,
but they're all nobodies, Larry. They're nobodies. They're nobodies.
They're unknown, but they're pretty competitive.
I know some competitive nobodies.
I think you're harder on them than you need to be. I think they can play with people. Now, then I'm not predicting them coming out of the East, but I don't think they're like an easy out.
Have the Pacers ever won a championship since we've been playing? Since we've been watching sports?
Well, probably not since they've been in the NBA. We probably won
one of the franchises who never even won it all.
I think they won it in the ABA, which is no
No. I'm talking about the NBA.
No, the ABA is was a serious league.
I didn't say nothing about that. I'm just talking about the NBA. We're talking about the ABA. I didn't say it wasn't a serious league. Why did you say it was a serious league? I never said anything about that.
Oh no, because the reason I say that is because when their teams came over, Indiana, Denver, the New York Nets, and San Antonio, I think all 3 out of 4 of them really had good teams except for the Nets, and that's because they ended up having to lose Dr. J because Philly took Dr. J from them. But all of the teams were instantly competitive when they came over. San Antonio and Denver especially.
Well, why are we even talking? How do we even get on the competitive of it?
I brought it up because you were talking about Indiana, and I'm pretty sure that they won at least one championship in the ABA. So I think that counts for something. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, a game. I don't count for nothing.
Now, if we want to say since the merger, yeah, I think that's a legitimate. I'm gonna check and see if they actually did win it. I'm thinking they did, but
nobody talks about the Squires when they won the ABA championship. Nobody talks about those championships. I'm not discounting the league or nothing. I'm just saying. Maybe
they won 3 ABA championships.
Well, but you never mentioned. You never anybody say anything about the ABA.
Well, I mean,
in general, those times I talk about.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they weren't good. I used to follow them. I followed them when I went away to school. I used to watch them.
I never said that they weren't good, Larry. I just said nobody talks about them. And so for you to bring up the ABA,
you said they haven't won any championships. So I said they won. They won. I knew they had won at least one in the ABA. They won 3 of them. So I give them their props.
I got you. Okay. I give them their nobody props.
But I mean, if we want to make the statement since the merger they haven't won, that's a fair statement.
That's true.
I guess San Antonio and Denver have won it since the merger.
You're absolutely right, man.
The Nets and the Pacers have not.
Yeah.
But you're hard on them, man. You're hard on them. They got a decent team.
I ain't hard. Damn.
You're hard on everybody, man.
I'm not, man. I'm not.
There's nothing wrong with you having high standards. I mean, you just.
No, I'm just being realistic, man. The Pacers are nothing, man. They're nothing. They're not a threat. The Knicks are not a threat. The Knicks played better, in my opinion, last year than they did this year. On paper, it seems like they have a better. I guess any team would rather have. What's the 7-foot boy's name?
Karl Anthony Towns.
Anybody would rather have him than stupid hog, left-handed, inconsistent.
Talking about Randall.
Yeah, him. So yeah, that is an upgrade, but that don't mean their team was better. They upgraded that position.
Well, the other guy they brought in, the other guy from Villanova that they brought in from the Nets, can't think of his name. The one that plays every game.
Right, he ain't done nothing.
He's done as much as the guy that you talked about that they traded the other guy from Villanova.
But they don't have the same kind of chemistry. New York was a threat last year. Every time they went on the court. Some teams this year you ain't worried about them. Don't they play tonight or tomorrow? They play tomorrow.
Yeah, I think basketball starts up again on Thursday.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday, not even tomorrow.
Nobody's afraid of New York and Indianapolis. It's nothing. That's all I was trying to say. But we've been going back and forth for the last 15 minutes. That's all I'm trying to say. Pacers are nothing.
And you think they were afraid of them last year?
People was afraid of the Knicks last year. Brooklyn, that was a tough team. And I don't even like the Knicks, but the Knicks were a tough team last year.
They're a tough team. They're a tough team this year. What made them tough last year? Was their point guard? As long as he's there, that's what made them a tough team.
That team chemistry.
The other guy that they're missing from last year is Hardesty, the big boy that went to Oklahoma City, because the other guy stays hurt all the time.
Yeah, well.
So they don't really have a guy on the bench.
That's why last year's team was better than it, I guess.
Well, Karl Anthony Towns generally took his place, but for a while, what's the guy? Mitchell Robinson. He was playing some. He hasn't played this year at all. Maybe if he comes back, that can give them, a little more depth.
You know what would that give them?
Some depth at center.
He was nobody.
He's a defensive presence and he rebounds.
They got other clowns on their squad that come in and foul somebody. It ain't nothing. I've always been hard on the Knicks, though, for sure. I don't even know why. I guess I looked at them as losers because Chicago would always dispose of them. I don't know. I've never liked the Knicks, even when they had Monroe and Frazier. A great.
I liked them back then.
I didn't like them then. So
I liked them before they had Monroe. I liked them when they had Dick Barnett and Frazier.
I hated Dick Barnett because he was left-handed, I guess.
That was my team back in the day.
The Knicks.
I remember I would go up to Baltimore and watch them play the Bullets, and Earl Monroe used to light them up.
I think one reason why I hated the Knicks was because of Phil Jackson.
I mean, he was just a hatchet man off the bench.
He was a hatchet man, a hagbard, a big, dumb, stupid-looking dude. And they were talking about him on ABC. Oh, he's hustling. He was a hagbard, man. I hated Phil Jackson. Get out of here, man. Anyway. All right, well, the NCAA women's tournament is looking interesting. I don't know about the men's. All those teams.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost with them. I know last week Auburn and Alabama played. They were ranked 1 and 2, and they played each other. And it just seems strange. Normally you think of them in football as the Iron Bowl, big rivals, and Auburn beat Alabama, and Auburn remains ranked number 1 in the men's. And it just seems strange. Just like the SEC, which is known for football, is dominating in basketball this year. And I guess the Big Ten dominated in football. Things are upside down.
Yeah.
At least on the men's side, they're dominating.
Craziness going on here, man. NCAA. I don't know. I'm just unhappy about the way things are going as far as basketball. And I still haven't recovered from that lackluster Super Bowl. I'm not happy with sports right now.
What was wrong with the Super Bowl? You were rooting for Kansas City. That must be it. Because the team from Philly showed up and just kind of, they looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good game. It was a mismatch. It was a rout. I don't like routes. I don't see how any route can be a good game.
I agree. But one team played well.
Yeah.
It was a mismatch. And I'm not necessarily a fan of Kansas City. Don't dislike them, but
Yeah.
I think you like them a little more than me.
I'm a Mahomes fan. And not even, I'm just disappointed that I could be so wrong in my picks and my choices. The last thing I would have ever thought to happen was Kansas City would get routed like that.
I think most people, I think that was like, unusual occurrence, just like what UConn did to South Carolina. That was their given Sunday. Sometimes you just catch a team at the wrong time. They're playing their best and you're not.
Not like that, man. That was a whooping.
Yeah, but it was just one day. And Philadelphia actually played their best. I mean, it was nothing. You talking about peaking at the right moment? They were there, and they actually showed it 2 weeks before when they played Washington.
No, that game was close until they gave up the 2 turnovers, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Man. I apologize to viewers for seeing me so nonchalant there. I'm just so disappointed in what's going on. I don't feel like talking no smack. I don't feel like saying anything about anybody. I just don't even know what to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sports doctor took it personally because, he was signing on for Kansas City and they didn't show up and meet his standards. So he's stunned because usually he feels something and he's usually on target with his feelings. He was off on Super Bowl Sunday.
I don't know what to say. But they beat them boys. Wow. I mean, I knew Kansas City offensive line. Well, that's last week. We're not talking about that. We're talking about we're not going to go back. That's a week just passed. You got anything else you want to talk about? We can wrap this show up.
Let's wrap it up, man. It's always good to get together and talk. And maybe next week, we'll have more NBA stuff. Maybe you'll get into the swing of that, as well as more women's college basketball. Maybe we can figure out something about the men. Maybe they'll catch our attention.
All I know is if Duke is ranked number 3 in the country, the NCAA has a lot of trouble. They got a lot of trouble. I don't know who's doing the ranking.
You sound like a Duke hater, man.
I do. I abhor Duke. I do. Yeah. So we'll see. Well, Larry, thanks for taking time out of your hectic schedule.
It's always a pleasure, man. We'll do it again next week.
Okay, Larry. I'll talk to you later. Oh, yes, sir. You'll be on tomorrow with the rest of the fellas, the real fellas.
Yeah, Real Fellas Talk Sports at 7:00.
Yeah.
On look for the same Real Fellas Sports Talk platform. You'll find us.
Yeah. Check out David, Charles, Larry, and a special guest if they have one. If not, check them out.
Maybe the sports doctor might tune in as our special guest. That would really be.
I thought that very seriously. But,
hey, can't fault a brother for trying, right?
All right, Larry. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.